So when we talk about the automated home, we're not just talking about telling a smart speaker to turn on a light bulb. I mean, sure, that's part of it for a lot of us, but a truly smart home, that's something else entirely. It's about a home that works for you, kind of silently in the background, just making your life a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, without you even having to think about it.
So let me ask you this. Does your smart home ever feel, well, kind of dumb? You know the drill, right? You're fumbling with like 5 different apps on your phone, you're yelling voice commands that it just doesn't get, and you're trying to remember that one specific magic phrase just to dim the living room lights. If it feels more like a chore than a convenience, yeah, you're definitely not alone. But here's the good news. It really doesn't have to be that way. All right, let's get into the good stuff. We're going to look at some automations that solve real, actual problems. I'm talking about the stuff that goes way beyond party tricks. From the chores you always forget to those little daily frustrations. These are the kinds of setups that once you have them, you'll seriously wonder how you ever managed without them.
Okay, so what if your house could just do the chores you forget? Imagine not having to keep a running checklist in your head all day. Let's start with a classic, a problem I think we can all relate to, the battle against the ever-growing, overflowing laundry basket.
And the solution is just brilliantly simple. Check this out. You just stick a pressure mat under the laundry basket. That's it. When the weight of the clothes hits that, yep, that's a full load point, the system just waits. It doesn't bug you right away. It waits for a good time, maybe 9 a.m. the next morning. And then, bang, you get a simple notification. Time to do the laundry. Just like that. Problem solved. No more guessing and no more laundry avalanches.
Okay, that's laundry sorted. Now let's head into the kitchen. You know, the heart of the home. We've all seen motion sensors that turn lights on and off, and that's cool. But what if your kitchen lights could actually understand what you're doing and where you're doing it?
So this automation from Norway is just next level. Picture this. You walk into the kitchen, and the lights just softly come up to about 50%. Nice and easy. But then, the magic happens. The second you start chopping onions on the cutting board, or maybe start kneading dough on the counter, tiny little vibration sensors hidden underneath detect that specific activity. And bam, the lights right above that spot, and only that spot, ramp up to 100%. The light is literally following you around the kitchen, giving you perfect task lighting exactly where you need it, when you need it, and you haven't touched a single switch.
This is where it gets really clever. A truly smart home isn't just about chores and lights. It can actually act as a teammate. Think about it. Those tiny little moments of social friction, right? Like when you're deep in focus on something and a message comes through that you just can't get to right away.
Well, here's a perfect example of how automation can smooth that over. Let's say you're gaming, the Xbox is on. The system knows this. A text comes in from, say, your partner. Now, instead of you either ignoring it and maybe causing some frustration or having to pause your game, the house just steps in. It automatically sends a polite little reply back, something like, hey, I'm in the middle of something, might be slow to respond. Just like that. A potential little argument is completely avoided, and it all happens in the background without you doing a thing.
So you see, when you start stringing these individual, clever automations together, you don't just have a collection of tricks. You create a day that just flows. Let's actually walk through what a day in a home like this could feel like, from the second you wake up all the way to that 2 a.m. trip for a glass of water.
Okay, so it's 7 a.m. Your lights don't just jolt on, they slowly brighten, kind of like a natural sunrise, and maybe your speaker gently reads you your first calendar appointment. Then, by 2 p.m., the house knows everyone's out, so it dials back the thermostat to save some energy. Fast forward to 8 p.m., you say movie night, and instantly the main lights dim down, the cool accent lights behind the TV kick on, and then it's 2 a.m. You get up for a drink. The moment your feet hit the floor, motion sensors trigger this super soft, low-level red light along the baseboards, just enough to guide you to the kitchen without searing your eyeballs. Every single part of the day is just handled.
See, this is the key. It's really not about how many smart plugs or fancy bulbs you can cram into your house. It's about the thinking, the philosophy behind it all. It's about how it all works together. So, what's the secret sauce? What makes a smart home feel genuinely smart?
Well, it really comes down to 3 main goals. First, it's got to be invisible. The best automation is the kind you completely forget is even running. It just happens. Second, and this one is crucial, it needs to have a high spouse approval factor. That means it has to be dead simple and intuitive for everyone in the house. Family, guests, you name it. Not just the person who set it all up. And finally, number 3, it has to be rock-solid reliable. Because, let's be honest, an automation that only works sometimes is way more annoying than no automation at all.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea, the hybrid home. Honestly, this is the secret weapon for getting that spouse approval.
It's pretty simple. The automation is always running in the background, doing its thing. But, and this is the key part, the normal physical light switch on the wall still works. It does exactly what you'd expect it to do. Your guests don't need a 10-minute tutorial on how to turn on the bathroom light. You really get the best of both worlds. All the smarts of automation with all the comfort and familiarity of a regular old switch.
And really, that's the huge difference, isn't it? The clunky smart home makes you do all the work. It makes you remember voice commands, it makes you hunt for the right app. But the invisible home, it's all driven by sensors. It watches, it learns, and it adapts to what you're doing. It just hums along quietly in the background, making things better without you ever having to ask.
Okay, so we've got all this amazing stuff happening automatically. But let's be real, sometimes you just want to take control. You want to press a button, and that's where your dashboard comes in. Think of it like the cockpit for your entire house. And how that cockpit is designed? It's absolutely critical.
And this quote here from Ethan Nelson just nails it. It says, "Clients don't actually care that your product uses AI. All they care about is the results and the experience." And that's so true for the smart home. Nobody cares about the complex code running in the background. All that matters is, does it work? Is it easy? Can I do what I want to do without getting a headache? So a great dashboard follows some really simple do's and don'ts. For example, do use things like conditional visibility. That means the button to unlock the front door only even shows up when the doorbell camera sees a person. But don't clutter the screen with a million graphs for every single sensor. Do organize it by room, because that's how we think, right? You think, I need to turn on the kitchen lights, not I need to find bulb number 7. And please, prioritize the stuff you use all the time. The button to turn off all the lights should be right there, front and center, no scrolling required. The whole goal is clarity over clutter, always.
Here's the ultimate test, the golden rule. You should be able to find and control anything you need in less than 3 seconds. If it takes you any longer than that, the design just isn't working.
Okay, so let's shift gears and look to the future, which is actually already here for some people. We've gone from simple triggers, if this happens, do that, to a home that's adaptive. But the next giant leap, it's a home that doesn't just react, it's a home that remembers, a home that actually thinks.
We're talking about moving beyond that basic if this, then that stuff. Think about it. All those sensors are constantly gathering data on how you live in your space. The next frontier is about using that data to give your home a memory, so it understands the context of a room and what you liked about it.
And this is where it gets really, really cool. It's called state saving. Imagine you're in your office and you turn on a fan. Then you leave the room for a couple of minutes, and the house, being smart, turns everything off to save power. But right before it does, it takes a little snapshot of the room. It remembers the lights were on at 70% and remembers that the fan was on. When you walk back in, it doesn't just turn the lights back on. It restores that snapshot. The lights go to 70% and the fan kicks back on, automatically. The room is exactly how you left it. It honestly feels like magic.
And it's not just the background stuff. The way we talk to our homes is evolving too. We're moving away from barking simple commands and into having real, conversational interactions. Being able to ask something complex, like, "Hey Jarvis, what's on my calendar for March 24th, 2025, and getting the right answer back instantly, that shows a system that truly understands context, time, and what you're actually trying to do. So, all this leaves us with a really powerful idea to think about. We started this journey with a home that you had to command. Then we explored a home that responds to you. But the real destination, the ultimate goal, is a home that actually anticipates what you need, a home that just knows you'll want that fan back on when you re-enter your office, a home that automatically warms up the lights as the sun goes down, one that just handles all those little details so you don't have to. And when you get there, well, that's not just a smart home anymore. That's a true partner in your life.